Alright, clearance lights, turn signals, marker lights, amber color, securely mounted, free of cracks, holes, or condensation. Headlights are securely mounted, free of cracks, holes, or condensation. Windshield is securely mounted with a good seal that's not cracked or dry rotted. Windshield itself has no cracks, holes, illegal stickers, or obstructions. Windshield wipers are securely mounted, good tension. Rubber's not cracked or dry rotted. We'll look underneath the tractor for any debris hanging down, such as belts, hoses, or wires, or puddles indicating leaks. Coolant reservoir is securely mounted. Bolts and clamps all present and tight. Does not leak. Check the sight glass daily. Fill as needed. All the hoses, including the lower and upper radiator hose, securely mounted with clamps present and tight. Free of cuts, abrasions, bulges, leaks, or dry rot. From now on, refer to that as cabled. Water pump. Securely mounted. All bolts present and tight. Does not leak. And it's gear driven. Alternator is securely mounted, all bolts present and tight. Cables are securely mounted, not buried or frayed. Belt has no more than 3/4 of an inch of deflection at the center, and it's not cracked, frayed, or dry rotted. Try to check my oil daily, fill as needed. Exhaust is all securely mounted, all nuts, bolts, and clamps present and tight. No leaks, which will be indicated by soot. We'll follow underneath the truck looking for any signs of leaks. Back here. Heat shield, muffler, stack, securely mounted with all nuts, bolts, and clamps present and tight. Air compressor is securely mounted to the engine, all bolts present and tight, no audible leaks, and it's gear driven. All the air lines are securely mounted, not cabled. Now my air tank, which is securely mounted with no audible leaks, draining off excess condensation all daily. Power steering pump is securely mounted to the engine, all bolts present and tight, does not leak, and it's gear driven. Up 3 power steering hoses, securely mounted, not cabled. Power steering reservoir is securely mounted, all bolts and clamps present and tight, no leaks. Check daily, fill as needed. Steering gearbox, securely mounted, all bolts present and tight, does not leak. Pitman arm, drag link, upper and lower control arms and tie rod, all securely mounted with the castle nuts and cotter pins present and tight, and they are not cracked, bent, or repair welded. Suspension, front and rear spring hanger, securely mounted, all bolts present and tight, not cracked, bent, or repair welded. Leaf springs have no loose, missing, shifted, cracked, or repair welded leaves. Securely mounted to the axle with U-bolts and nuts, all present and tight. U-bolts are not cracked, shifted, or repair welded. Axle beam itself is not cracked, bent, or repair welded. Shock absorber is securely mounted, all bolts present and tight, does not leak. Leaks be indicated by oil at the center of the shock. Brakes, brake line is securely mounted, not cabled. Brake chamber, securely mounted, nuts and clamp present and tight. No audible leaks, not cracked or dented. Push rod is straight, securely mounted to my slack adjuster with pins and cotter pins in place. That's where I check for proper adjustment. Should not be able to pull the slack adjuster to make the push rod travel more than 1 inch. Slack adjuster turns the S-cam, which pushes the brake linings into the drum. Brake linings have at least 1/4 inch of material. No broken or missing segments. Brake drum has no heat stress cracks, repair welds, not worn dangerously thin. There's no oil or other contaminants in my brakes. Tires, evenly worn, 4/32 of an inch minimum tread. Cannot be recapped, is not cabled, is properly beaded to the rim. Rim is not bent, cracked, or repair welded, no elongated bowl holes. All 10 lug nuts are present and tight. These lug nuts be indicated by black residue and aluminum rim, rust trails on a steel rim. My valve stem is right here, securely mounted. Cap in place, straight. This is where I check for proper inflation and fill as needed. Wood hub seal is securely mounted, all bolts present and tight, does not leak. Check the sight glass, fill with oil as needed. Alright, my mirrors. Securely mounted. Free of cracks, holes, illegal stickers, or obstructions. Door works, latch works perfectly. Opens and closes freely. Hinge does not sag. Weather seal is intact. Seat is securely mounted to the floor with all bolts present and tight. Seat belt is securely mounted to the floor, seat, and the wall. Fuel tank is securely mounted to the frame with insulated saddle straps. All bolts are present and tight. Insulators are intact. Fuel lines are securely mounted and not cabled. Cap is in place with a good seal that does not leak. Tank does not leak, have any cracks, holes, or dents that would lead to leaks or bulges. Fire extinguisher is securely mounted, BC rated, pin in place, fully charged. 3 reflective triangles, spare fuses and circuit breakers needed for the truck, and spare glad hand grommets. Battery box, securely mounted to the frame, all bolts present and tight, no damage. Inside, all maintenance-free batteries securely mounted to the box. Cables are securely mounted to the terminals, not buried or frayed. They're free of excessive corrosion. Catwalk and all my steps are securely mounted, free of debris. Drive shaft, securely mounted from the rear of the transmission to the front differential to the rear differential, the universal joints. The joints have all their bolts present and tight, appear to be well lubricated. Drive shafts themselves are not bent, twisted, or repair welded. Cross members on my frame are all securely mounted, all bolts present and tight, not cracked, bent, or repair welded. Frame rails themselves are not bent, bowing, sagging, cracked, or repair welded. Electrical line is securely latched to the back of the cab in the front of the trailer. No bare, frayed, or spliced wires. Emergency and service air lines securely mounted to the back of the cab in the front of the trailer. Good grommets. They are not cabled, hanging freely, not dragging or kinked. Bulkhead inside of my trailer, there's no cracks, holes, or bulges. 50% of the length of my trailer is covered with DOT reflective tape. Clearance lights, marker lights, amber to the front, red to the rear. Securely mounted, free of cracks, holes, or signs of condensation. One of my brakes, my brake lines are securely mounted, not cabled. Brake chamber, securely mounted, nuts and clamps present and tight. No audible leaks, not cracked or dented. Push rod is straight, securely mounted to my slack adjuster with pins and cotter pins in place. That's where I check for proper adjustment. If this brake were released, I would not be able to pull the slack adjuster to make the push rod travel more than 1 inch. Slack adjuster turns the S-cam, which pushes the brake linings into the drum. Linings have at least 1/4 inch of material, no broken or missing segments. Brake drum has no heat stress, cracks, repair welds, not worn dangerously thin. No oil or other contaminants are in my brakes. Suspension, front spring hanger, securely mounted, all bolts present and tight, not cracked, bent, or repair welded. Leaf spring has no loose, missing, shifted, cracked, or repair welded leaves. Securely mounted to my axle with U-bolts and nuts all present and tight. U-bolts are not cracked, shifted, or repair welded. Bottom of the spring hanger, torque arm is securely mounted, all bolts present and tight, not cracked, bent, or repair welded. Rear of the suspension, I have airbag is securely mounted from the frame to the rear spring mount. All bolts present and tight. Is not cabled. Shock absorber is securely mounted to the frame of the rear spring mount. All bolts present and tight. Does not leak. Leaks be indicated by all at the center of the shock. One of my dual wheels. Rims are butted up to each other with no daylight between them. Valley is free of debris. Tires are not touching. They are the same size, same type of tire. Evenly worn. 2/32 inch minimum tread. It can be recapped, not cabled, properly beaded to the rim. Rims are not bent, cracked, or repair welded, no elongated bowl holes. All 10 lug nuts are present and tight. These lug nuts be indicated by black residue, and this being an aluminum rim or steel will be rust trails. Valve stems are opposing each other, securely mounted, straight, dust caps in place. Check for proper inflation fill as needed. Axle seal, axle is securely mounted, all bolts present and tight, does not leak. I would do that axle, same as the way I did this axle. Sliding fifth wheel platform is securely mounted to the frame. All mounting bolts present and tight. No broken or missing teeth. Locking pin is fully engaged in the travel position. Release arm. Fully engaged, indicating the jaws of the fifth wheel locked around the shank of the kingpin. There are no gaps or daylight between the skid plate of the fifth wheel and the apron of the trailer, and it appears to be well lubricated. Apron is not cracked or washboarded, securely mounted to the frame of the trailer with all bolts present and tight. If I was able to access the kingpin, I would not be able to move it by hand. Also have plenty of clearance between the tractor and the landing gear so they don't interfere on turns. You're going to get underneath, look forward to the fifth wheel, confirming the jaws are locked around the shank of the kingpin. Tail lights, proper color red, reverse white or clear, securely mounted, free of cracks, holes, or condensation. Look underneath the tractor for any debris hanging down, such as belts, hoses, or wires, or puddles that indicate leaks. Landing gear, securely welded to the frame of the trailer with no broken welds. Legs are in a fully upright position. Top and bottom of the pads are free of debris. Crank handle is securely stowed. Ribs of the trailer are all securely mounted and straight. There's no holes in the floor of the trailer. Trailer subframe is securely welded to the frame of the trailer with no broken welds. It is not cracked or bent. Air tank is securely mounted with no audible leaks. My front and rear spring hangers are securely welded to the subframe. No broken welds. Hangers themselves are not cracked, bent, or repair welded. My leaf springs have no broken, loose, missing, shifted, cracked, or repair welded leaves. Securely mounted to the axle with U-bolts and nuts all present and tight. U-bolts are not cracked, shifted, or repair welded. Torque arm is securely mounted. All bolts present and tight. Not cracked, bent, or repair welded. Brakes. My brake lines are securely mounted, not cabled. Brake chambers securely mounted. All bolts present and tight. Or nuts and clamps present and tight. No audible leaks. Not cracked or dented. Push rod is straight, securely mounted to my slack adjuster with pins and cotter pins in place. Where I check for proper adjustment, if this brake were released, I would not be able to pull on the slack adjuster to make the push rod travel more than 1 inch. Slack adjuster turns the S-cam, which puts the brake linings into the drum. Brake linings have at least 1/4 inch of material, no broken or missing segments. Brake drum has no heat stress cracks, repair welds, not worn dangerously thin. There's no oil or other contaminants in my brakes. Again, my Dayton wheel, it's 2 rims and a spacer. Looking in the valley, looking for any gaps or daylight between the rims and the spacer. The valley is free of debris. Tires are not touching. They are the same size, same type of tire. Evenly worn, 2/32 of an inch minimum tread. Can be recapped, are not cabled, properly beaded to the rims. Rims are not bent, cracked, or repair welded. All the lug nuts are present and tight. This lug nut must be indicated by fresh metal shavings between the rims and the spacer. Valve stems are opposing each other, securely mounted straight. Caps in place. This is where I check for proper inflation fills needed. My white hub seal is securely mounted. All bolts present and tight. Does not leak. Check the sight glass. Fill with oil as needed. Mud flaps are securely mounted, not ripped, not dragging on the ground. My door, no cracks, holes, or bulges, rolls up and down freely. Cables have good tension, are not frayed. 90% of the width of the trailer is covered with DOT reflective tape. Handles in the latch position works properly. Clearance lights, tail lights, red in color, securely mounted, free of cracks, holes, or condensation. I'll do that side, same as I did this side. You're going to ask them, will you help me check my lights? Oh. So the last thing I asked her is to help me check my lights, or him. Turn my headlights on. Give me behind you, left, right, hazards, and brake light. In front of you, left, right, hazards, high beam. So now she's in a trick with you, or he is. Seatbelt is not ripped or frayed. It latches and unlatches properly. My mirrors are set to me. My mirrors and windows are clean. My dash and my floor are free of debris. Start my truck. I need to show oil pressure within 5 seconds. I'm going to shut it off immediately. Oil pressure should be between 20 and 60, and it's currently showing 35. Water, 175 to 190, never over 210. Currently showing about 180. Volts, 12 to 14, currently showing about 13 and a half. Steering wheel, no more than 2 inches of free play and a 20-inch wheel or 10 degrees. Electric horn, air horn. Check my dashboard indicator, my left, my right, my hazards, my high beam, all work. Lights off, washer work, wipers work, washer does not. Heater defroster, cap heat works, defrost works. Do my tug test, release my tractor brake, tested my trailer brake and my coupling system. Works well. Release my tractor brake, set my tractor brake, release my trailer brake, test my tractor parking brake. Works. Engine off. Key on. In gear. Release the tractor brake, transmission's holding the truck. First test I'm going to do is my applied pressure test. I should not lose more than 3 psi in a single vehicle or 4 psi in a combination in 1 minute. Make sure you time it out because they're going to. Minutes up, didn't lose any air. Next test is going to be my lower warning. Should come on approximately 60 psi with an audible and a visual warning. Lighten the buzzer. And it works. Last test is going to be my protection valves. Trailer should come out at 40, tractor at 20. They come out together, never the tractor first. That's it. I'm at 40. That's the whole thing.